thanks for coming out to our new location for Deep Dive DL. Big thank you to Harry, that's what they call you, Henry Van Offlin and his crew here at Buck's Mill Brewery. This is one of our third spots in town. I just love this place so much, and so I hope you come and check it out in the evening when the taps are pouring. And they have a lot of fun events that they do here too, so be sure to come in and enjoy that. My name is Amy Stearns, and I'm with Project 412, and I just really am so happy to have you all here this morning because we were wondering how doing Deep Dive DL in the summer would work, and so thanks for getting up early and coming out. We are with Project 412 this summer. We have a lot of different things happening, including our Trucks and Tunes every Thursday night, almost every Thursday night. We don't do it during the fair or during Wee Fest or Water Carnival, but otherwise it's every Thursday down in the park. So be sure to check that out next Thursday. It's going to be a fun event that Thursday night, and then the following Thursday, July 3rd, is a really big Trucks and Tunes with a band out of the cities called Cuckoo Kangaroo, but they have just dropped the kangaroo part. So I don't know if they're just cuckoo, crazy, or what. But they are more of a family band, but it's fun for all ages. So be sure to bring your children, grandchildren, and neighbor kids and all that to that event. It'll be a lot of fun. So with that, I want to invite a few people up here. I'll just introduce Sarah, actually. Sarah Hoffman is our ecosystem builder with Project 412, helping us to connect with businesses. She leads co-working. She works with our pitch competition that we do, and she leads our Deep Dive DL. So Sarah, come on up. This one has a switch, so those people who have to talk can turn it on and off. So I'll give this to Hannah.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out this morning. We're happy to have you all here. We hope you're enjoying all the coffee and Hannah's amazing art over there. This is our first time displaying digital art, so that has been an experiment, but it worked out pretty well. So today we're gonna have two people up here. We're gonna have Hannah Irene Marie, and we're also gonna have Travis Stone. We'll start with Hannah, so let's welcome up Hannah Irene Marie.
Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah.
Do you wanna hold these?
Yeah.
Okay. So Hannah does all the sticker art here at Buck's Mill Brewing. She's an extremely talented artist, and she is also the brains and the talent behind our art surprises. So has anyone here seen the art surprises around town? Yeah, see, look, you have all your fans here today. All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got started as an artist?
Okay, so try to keep this short. I grew up in Detroit Lakes, but in a pretty creative family, and so I've always been really drawn to art and creating and making. And then I went to school for studio art and art history at the University of Minnesota Morris, and that was an incredible program, and I learned a lot. And so obviously spent all my time doing that, and then I came back to Detroit Lakes, and I was asked to do the art surprises for Project 412, and it was kind of like, I'm a new mom. It was posed like, you're a new mom, what would you want your daughter to see walking around town? So that's how like the art surprises got started, and then public art from there has been really cool. Kind of changed from what I was doing in college, for sure.
That's awesome. So I've told Hannah this before, but my kids are obsessed with I Spies, and they believe that she has turned our entire town into a giant I Spy. And so everywhere they go, they're like, I've got it, it's right there. And so they have contests going on it. So you've definitely accomplished your goal in making the town something beautiful like that. What about your stickers for Bucks? What kind of thought do you have going into those?
Those ones are more like cheeky, like they're kind of like inside jokes. I want them to be really fun, and because they're little, they're You get them with your beer on the first Sunday of every month. So they're more fun. They're more not more fun. The art supplies are very fun, but they're more cheeky. They're like a little joke, and in a good way. Kind of sound like.
All right, I'm gonna hold these up and have you explain them to us. I'll separate. All right, do you just want to tell us about this one?
So this one, both of these actually are kind of like illusions. The water like lines up with the faucet at a certain angle. So with these ones, with the art surprises, I'd go around town and obviously we're not there when I'm walking around town looking for spots that I think art or something could interact well with the space. And so I saw this faucet and I was like, what could interact with that? What could be really cute and fun, and what would I want kids to see or adults, whatever. So I walk around town, take pictures, and then I draw it on my iPad so it'll interact well, and then I go out and I paint. So when you walk by, it's kind of like, oh, that's cool, and then you get to that angle, and it's like, whoa, it kind of looks like water's pouring out of this faucet. And then there's just like a cute little frog waiting to float. I don't know. That's what's that one. And then similar with this, can I talk about this one? Yeah. Gosh. Sorry. No. Same with this one. I wanted to do a little Polar Pete thing. I was walking by one day and I saw the railing in this beautiful wall and was like, oh, immediately I was like, I could do a little snowboarding something, and then I just did the Polar Pete for DL, and again, you're walking by, it's nice, it's cool, and then you see them ride in the rail, and like, oh, that's cool. So that's my goal. Like, I just want to be like, oh, that's nice, and like smile.
So tell us a little bit more about the process. You said you start by taking a picture.
Yep. When I first started, I walked like all of the streets of Detroit Lakes. So again, just trying to find cool spots, cool walls, cool bricks. And I go home, I take a photo of the spot that I like, and then I go home and I interact with it. I draw and sketch it out. I try to find something cool and something that I think will be really fun in that area of town. And then I presented it to 412, and they're like, heck yeah, that's cool. And then we had to get permission from whoever owns whatever wall I want to paint on. And people have been really cool about wanting to be involved and saying yes to them, and then I go out and paint whenever I can find time.
That's awesome. So you mentioned walking all the streets of DL. Do you think you always looked at the town that way, or do you think this project kind of gave you a different perspective?
I think it definitely gave me a different perspective. I mean, I've always loved walking around DL because it's so beautiful, and the community here is so friendly, and it's you feel safe walking down the street. But yeah, it made me look closer for sure at little things. It's not just like straightforward. You're looking all around you and trying to find like hidden details and spots, and I think it did. I think it made me closer to the community for sure, especially when I was actually out painting. Everyone was so supportive and really excited about the projects, and that was really, really, really wonderful. Like, I did one on Northside Bar, and that everyone in that neighborhood was just really cool. Like, there would be kids skateboarding by, and they'd be like, "That's so cool," as they like waved, and it was so. And then the patrons of all the businesses over there. I mean, that's happened everywhere, but that was really fun. That was a really cool experience.
That's really neat, because a lot of times you think about how people interact with the art after it's done, but I guess I haven't given as much thought to how they interact with it while it's being built, so that's really awesome.
I think the process, the actual act of making art, of painting is like my favorite part. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's cool after it's done, but I'd rather be doing it. And it's cool that people, I've never experienced that before, like people seeing me do it, because I've never done public art before, and that's a different experience, because I'm usually like, no, don't look at this until it's fully finished. Like, don't look at it. I'm very protective of my process, but no, it was really cool. That was different, and I'm glad I did it, because and I hope to do more.
Do you think now that you've done that, you're a little less protective of your process because you're more accustomed to people interacting?
Yeah, definitely. I've been, like when I do the stickers, that's I'm doing that at home. Sometimes I'll do that caribou or bucks or something, but I'm okay with sharing it before it's done, which I never was before. Don't look at me. But now I'm like, it's fine, I guess. Tell me about it, I don't know.
Oh, that's great. So, out of all the art you've ever done in your life, what is your favorite art piece, and can you tell us about it?
Really hard to pick one. My favorite, I think, was actually way back my senior project for my senior show in college. I have to pick one. I did a whole series of pomegranate prints. I'm a printmaker at heart. That's what I love, and that's what I started doing in college. And those were really important to me because they were complete introspection. Like they were all personal experience. They came like straight from me, and they were totally different from what I do now. They're all pattern and texture and I don't know, like not really so character-y as I do now. Like they're just like emotion based and more abstract. And I think those are still my favorite because they were so like, they were just straight like me. I didn't have anyone else in mind when I was making those. So I think if I ever were able to get back to like had the means to screen print again, I think it would be like a really cool mix of then and now. Like they would be more introspective, but like super playful like I do now. Like more like I want other people to get something from it. Like I want people to really enjoy it. So I think that would be really cool. But that's probably my favorite series. If I had to really pick one from that one, oh gosh, I don't know if I can. I love them all.
I didn't prepare her for this one.
Yeah.
This is a tough question. All right, so speaking of questions, we're going to open it up to the audience. So who has questions? Tim's always the first one.
Well, I loved how you talked about, like, don't look at it, it's not done yet, and that fear or uncertainty. And so what would you say to an artist that, because I think a lot of artists feel that, well, why would I create this? Who's going to like it? Well, somebody doesn't like it, and you get that inside your own head. What would you tell creative people to help them kind of get over that?
Ooh.
That's why I get paid the big dollars.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think now I'm at a spot where I would just say, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you want people to like your art, but I think if your intention is, good and you're just trying to put something out there positively and have fun and and it's you, then I think I would just tell them, like, I know that's so dumb because it's so hard not to care, but yeah, I think if you're just really proud of what you're doing, then it's gonna be good. And if someone doesn't like it, there's always gonna be someone that doesn't like it. So
Awesome.
you can't get away from that.
Now I know that some of the art surprises have disappeared over the years due to changes, but how many art surprises did you complete yourself for me to even go out and look in the community?
The ones you can still find, okay, so, sorry, I don't know the answer to that. Polar bear, the frog, the paper boats down this street here towards Precision Printing, which is where I work during the day, by the way. You can find me there. Those ones. On Precision Printing actually also is a big, that one's my biggest, is the alien spaceship. It's called Free Rides. And that one is like a photo opportunity. That one's super fun. I'm tagged a lot in that one. Sorry, I stopped counting. Though there's some more just words, I don't know how to describe them. In the park, if it rains, you can see them. You can only see them in the rain, kind of. Those are in the park. The 5. Mushrooms. Thank you. Mushrooms. Enter. The mouse.
Yeah.
The cat and the mouse.
Cat and mouse.
So yeah, we lost a couple. I think there were, oh my gosh, that just doesn't seem like as many as I did. There were at over like 10 or 12 maybe.
Yeah,
Amy, do you know? I don't know. Sorry that I don't know.
So I think we have 20 that you did.
Really?
But they're not all. There's 3 more that are getting installed.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Hopefully this week, even you guys, on the mall here, and it'll look to you like it's 2 because 1 got combined, right?
Yeah.
And then, but sadly, my favorite one, the mouse and the martini, the night and a half guy, the little guy.
It's gone.
He went away, but maybe he will come back
I know.
in time, right?
Yeah. I think doing a bunch of more really little mini ones would be really cool.
I'll just chip out a brick.
That's what I said. They should have kept.
But we want more of Hannah's art surprises around town next summer, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is there a map or anything of these different ones? Because
We're working on it.
Great.
We're working on it.
because I have a 10-year-old great niece and she's in love with the trolls. And then you get her out and look at a troll, and then you want to keep her looking at art.
Oh,
I'd
cool.
love to then have her be looking for your art surprises and going around town.
That is the
as
goal.
well.
Yep, that's
Thank
that's
you.
exactly what I love. I love to hear that. That's what I
I'll
want.
take that one too. So if Project 412 were in a different community, we would have all of that done and we'd have everything settled and fixed. We would not have a garden that we open. We wouldn't have anything going on. And then we'd plan all this for about 3 or 4 years and then we'd open it and do it. Nah, we just threw it all out there. We're just going for it. So yes, there is an art map. Does it work yet? No. Because functionality, because you are pretty much seeing all of the Project 412 team here, Greg, I mean, Sarah. So, yeah, it's coming in time. And it'll be so stinking cool because it'll have little things for art surprises, a little image for a troll, a little image for a mural, a little image for everything. But Google hasn't totally been our friend right now, but it's coming.
But thanks for putting the fun stuff up first. And
Yeah. So, and what I mean by that too is like Ortonstone Gardens, if you guys get out there to see the art that's out there, we really should have waited, like we just barely have signage, we barely have anything, but just go, because it's so cool and more signage will come and it's amazing.
And
But
Hannah and I have
Hannah's
talked about an illustrated map too to try and get so kids
Oh
can
yes, that would be
kids
really
can
great,
follow
yes.
around.
Yep.
Too many
In the
ideas.
works. Any other questions?
I just want to say that as an artist, fellow artist who have done a mural, you've done the most murals in Detroit Lakes. So you are the ranking muralist in Detroit Lakes. But I love your comment about when you're out there actually doing it and the public sees you doing it. It shows that there's a person behind the art that makes it happen, which is a trickle up of the community that supports the arts, the businesses, 412, and the public that then takes ownership and pride of these pieces of art. So just huge kudos to you. It's not easy in the sun, and it's not easy sitting on the ground and the gravel, and so kudos to you for doing this and making our town that much more fun to go explore. Which I see these things and I just love them, like the utility boxes where the arts, these little Easter eggs of art that pop up, is so cool to just walk by and like, oh, that's so cool. And you do catch that angle and it works perfectly. And that's what makes you pause and reflect on your community, is how great we are. So thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
You do look around differently.
What she said was.
Thank you. Yes. No. Exactly. 100%.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question as much as I just want to say thank you to Hannah for everything she does for this community. I've known Hannah since birth. She's my godchild, so yes, I am very proud of her. But I've also seen the growth in Hannah, and it's just amazing. So thank you, Hannah, very much.
Thank you, Auntie Patty.
All right, well, one last question to wrap it up. How can we as a community support you in your art?
Currently, come to Bucks Mill the first Sunday of every month. You'll find a sticker if you buy a beer. It's free. You get a free sticker if you buy a beer. First Sunday of every month. You follow me on Instagram. I have business cards over here if you didn't see them. And yeah, I think that's it. Again, you can find me at Precision Printing during the day.
All right, well, thank you. Let's give Hannah a big round of applause. All right, and next up is Travis Stone with Action Fabricating. So we were supposed to do a show with Travis in December.
Yep.
And then there was a huge blizzard coming in that didn't happen. so we postponed it, and so we're very excited that he dealt with us with rescheduling and was willing to come back and share his story. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what Action Fabricating is and what they do, because I don't think everyone knows kind of the full scope.
Absolutely. So, is it on? Hello? There we go. So, Action Fabricating and Minnesota Metalworks is our sister companies here in Detroit Lakes. What we do is custom metal fabrication. We don't have a product line necessarily. We make stuff to our customers' prints, and it's in a wide variety of industries, from custom radiator coils, aftermarket products for side-by-sides, four-wheelers, snowmobiles, skid steer attachments. We make roller tables for UPS and FedEx as the end customer, not our direct customer, though that would be cool. So it's a little bit of everything, and we like to kind of tout a start to finish. We get the sheet steel in, we can cut it, we can bend it, we can fabricate it, and we can paint it. So you can come to us as a one-stop shop is how we sell ourselves. And we've been in business now 28 years.
Wow. So are you doing larger bulk items more?
It's a little bit of everything. So we don't turn away one-piece jobs. One of our core values is that we don't say no. If we can't do it, we're going to find a way that we can do it, or do it in the future. We do have customers that order 10,000 parts. And we also have customers that order 2 parts, because that's all they need. It's a little more cost effective to order 10,000 parts, because there's one setup that you're putting across 10,000 parts versus 2 parts. But we do also like to keep those jobs. We don't ever want to say no to them, because it I like to say it's a brain break for our guys. If you got stuck on a machine running 10,000 parts, it's a little boring. But if you get to jump to this and jump to this and jump to this, at least your day goes by a little faster because you're doing more than one thing. And we've been trying to do internally like customer showcases so our guys can see, you know, where their stuff ends up.
I like that. That's nice. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of your background and then how you got started with Action Fabricating, because you have a unique story there?
Yes, so my background is actually in accounting. I went to school in town here at M-State, got my associates in accounting, and from there jumped into a few different industries. I worked at Friesens for a little bit. I worked at a hotel, Thumper Pond, and I will say I worked at Friesens before Thumper Pond. I worked at Arvig for a little bit, and the entire time I missed the piece that I got at Friesens from seeing something being made. How Action Fabricating comes into the picture is my older brother, Jake, was like employee number 3 when it started 20 some years ago. And he left, and there was an opening. And I was like, I grew up with this company in a sense. So I applied, and well, I didn't necessarily get his job coming in as someone who has never worked there. I had enough skills, and I liked to click around on stuff enough that they brought me in as a system admin and just to fill a little bit of my time purchasing. And from there, I clicked around on everything. I did programming, I did quoting, I learned how to run the machines when I was slow, accounting, worked into accounting when the accountant left. And at that point, had kind of worked myself up into the office manager, operations manager role. And myself and my partners now, we were all the management. I was in charge of kind of the office functions and making sure everything paperwork-wise was going out. My partner Jed at the time was in charge of the shop, making sure everything got out the door. And then Jordan was just making sure that we didn't fight too much. But no. And the opportunity presented itself. The previous owner, Joe Gronis, decided, you know, hey, you guys are doing good. I don't need to be here. You guys run with it. So he said, hey, how do we run it ourselves? And he said, I like it. Let's figure it out. So for 8 years now, we've owned Action Fabricating in Minnesota Metalworks, and have grown it from there. I mean, some of the customers that we have now, we didn't have 8 years ago. We're getting into more diverse products. We're adding services just to kind of stay. It's an ever-evolving industry, especially with like robotics and automation. There's always going to be somebody that needs to run it. I always tell the guys, somebody's got to program the robots. Robots just don't know how to do it themselves. It just makes your lives easier. And that's Minnesota Metalworks. As a part of that, they're just kind of set up to finish our products. And then we also have a plant in Phoenix, Arizona that does a lot of the same stuff we do here, but it's a nice little vacation spot in the winter then. Oh, I need to go down there?
Work expense.
Yeah, right. Right off.
So when we've talked in the past, I feel like you are really in tune with understanding what your team needs and managing a large group of people. And one of the things you'd mentioned is that you do the Disney management training. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so it would be 6 years ago now. We wanted to be better managers. We wanted to know how to do it right. And previously, one of my partners, Jordan, had went to the Disney Institute Business Excellence Training in Orlando, Florida. What we decided was we're gonna send everybody. So all of our managers, we sent ourselves and 9 of our guys, so 12 of us total, down across the year to the Disney Institute training, just so we could all meet different groups of people. And really, it showed us that we need to be not only in tune with our customers, but we need to be in tune with our employees. Without them, we can't get stuff out the door. So there's no reason that we need to be higher than them, in a sense. is really what the Disney way taught us. The best way to describe it is that every job has its function, from the janitor to the CEO, and without them, the place can't function. So our policies have kind of went open door in that sense. If somebody needs something, I'm there. What do you need me to do? Let's get it done.
That's awesome. So then, what does a typical day look like for you? And Travis has a lot of kids too.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this before, like, how do you balance all this?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what does your day-to-day look like?
In general, or just at work?
Kind of all of it. Like,
Oh,
how do
that's
you
the
make that work?
chaos.
That's the big thing for most entrepreneurs is how do I keep it all going? It won't be perfectly balanced, but how do I keep it all
That's
going?
great. So what I like to, it's chaos. Just I have 4 kids, and they're all over. I mean, 8 to all the way down to 2. Myself, just to kind of keep myself from going crazy, my little escape is I go to the gym in the morning, get focused, go into the office straight from there, and I just whatever the day brings at that point. So my main job would be finance. I'm making sure that the company's finances are running and that everything's getting out the door, everything's getting paid, and we're paying our vendors. But we are not quite large enough to have a person for every position, so I also wear an HR hat, I wear an IT hat, a machine operator hat, a welder hat, depending on the day. And that always is, I would say, driven by what the needs are for the day. Trying to just like this week, so I've been training somebody this week, new, and it's train him, hey, click on this. I gotta go help these guys ship a product out the door. I gotta go line up a truck. All right, I gotta make sure our customer's calling. I gotta make sure they're happy. So then I'll take that customer service call, talk to them about golf, make them feel good, and then they're gonna come up and visit because it's lake season. And then from there, the crazy thing about being an owner at times, and especially across a couple time zones, is that you don't unfortunately get to punch out right away at we end at 3:15, our office hours are at 3:15. I'm still getting calls at 7 o'clock at night from our second shift, just to make sure that stuff's running. Hey, this isn't connecting. And with a family with kids, there's that work-life balance everybody always talks about. I think I try to manage it well, I guess I say. I got 4 kids. At times I'm just like, all right, you're gonna have to deal with screaming if we're gonna walk through this, as I get dad, ah! But they're always fighting. And then just chasing kids at night. That's in a weird way, that's a stress reliever because I don't have to think about work.
All right, and then my last question before we open it up to everyone else is, along your whole journey, what is something that really surprised you?
All right, that's a good question. So, I guess to me, how much I like making things. And when I say that, when my brother worked here years ago and I was a kid and a teenager, I didn't think his job was cool, but I'd never done it. And then when I worked at Friesen's and I got to see their food grade conveyors going out the door, and then when I worked at Action and I really got to run the machines, it's so fun to just go out and see, like, all right, I know how that's made. I bet we can make that. Or a good example is one of our customers in North Carolina, one of their big customers is CVS. And they have their 3-fold doors. We have parts in those doors. So it's just really fun just to go to CVS and be like, all right, we did something here. And I think that surprised me, is how much I liked making the things and when I could see them out and wherever.
All right, so we're gonna open it up to questions. Who has a question? Oh, Amy.
Hey Travis, how is AI affecting your industry and what you do each day?
That's a good question. So we didn't use a lot, or we didn't have a lot of AI integrated into anything that we did until, I would say, just this past year. And we're starting to see how that can shape certain things. We still have a lot of old machines, our dinosaurs, but they run, so we use them. They can't really use AI. But a lot of our newer machines, our robotics, we're starting to see the design software for those programs that they run incorporate more and more AI in figuring out how to fabricate the part on the machine without us telling it where to go. So if we just put in a couple dimensions on some of these, it shoots it out. It says, here's your program, run it. And that's crazy to us because a year ago, everything was by hand. We had to do the measurements, we had to do the math, we had to do the test bends to make sure that our math was right. And now, after the first few parts, and we didn't have to check the math or go back to the drawing board, we're like, all right, we need some more of this.
Any other questions?
Okay, so you've been instrumental in a lot of public art here. Part of Project 412, part of us too doing stuff. You want to talk about some of those things because they have, I don't know if people know that, but then Detroit Lakes, how many cool art pieces you've been a part of and public installations.
I love it. So that's something that we've, part of our customer showcase actually has been Project 412 internally, just because we've done so many cool projects. I was just talking to Hans about it before I was up here. And we've done other things in town. I think this was a little bit before Project 412, like the sunfish panels down at the beach there where they have the sailboat. Hans designed those and we had a fun time making those. That's probably a good example of what surprised me the most is how much I like making those things, is how much I love bringing my kids out and be like, hey, Dad made that. They don't think it's as cool as I do, because they're like, oh. But it is really fun that you can go out, when the bollard panels were out on the lake a couple years ago, just to go out and see the lights. We're working on another project right now that once those are in, I'm really excited to see those.
You can tell them what they are.
Oh, the arts commissioner, I guess I don't know the exact term, I have it written down, but the arts community in Detroit Lakes is doing what's called Art on a Stick. So they're going to take popsicle sticks, big metal ones that we were a part of manufacturing, putting those in the ground, and they're going to wrap those with art from artists. And I'm excited to see what they look like, and it sounds like they're going to be a rotating. So the art's going to change on them. So if you see them once, doesn't mean you can't go look at them again, which I like.
All right.
I was just curious how many local people you're employing.
Yeah. So locally here at Action Fabricating, we have 39 employees. And then at Minnesota Metalworks, we have another 19 employees. So just over 60 employees here in town, or just under 60 in town here. And then we have 15 guys in Phoenix, Arizona.
So I have a question. We always ask artists where they draw their inspiration, but I'm curious, as you're growing your business and trying to stay cutting edge and do new things for employees and stuff, where do you get inspiration from? I didn't prep them for this one.
No, this is a good one. You know, that is a good question. So I would say I get a lot of it from the community. And I like to think of Detroit Lakes as like a little big city, because it's small enough that you can enjoy all of it rather quickly, but it also has those like big town draws, the art, the culture, the different things. And it's been interesting I've done a lot of volunteer things throughout the community myself, and just hearing what everybody says, what everybody's looking for, I think that helps draw inspiration into our business, because we can make our stuff, and some of the stuff that we've made with like Hans isn't necessarily anything that we've done before. And then we do it with them. We have a guy that loves to do this internally. And when we find out that we can do it, it's like, all right, how do we do more of this? So getting ourselves out into the community in that sense is kind of inspired us to add services, add things that we can do, just because we got to play around with some art in town.
All right, and then how can we as a community support you in your business?
You know, I would say give us some projects. No, and just we have a guy, we started a line now of mobile welding, and the idea behind him doing this, he's a long-term employee, is when it's come to some of the projects that have come up, who's going to install them has always been the question, and he loves doing this, so it inspired him to want to kind of, I'll go out and I'll fix things, but then I can also install these things when they come up. And I think a lot of those projects, like I said, have given us new things that we can do. So we love to hear it. Sometimes we might be like, oh, poor timing, we're busy, but we always find a way to get it out. We always want to be a part of it, because that, honestly, I think that drives it. If we're out in the community, that helps us just naturally be seen. If we're out there, ideally, guys are going to want to come and work for us, because then they can say, hey, I was a part of that. So give us projects.
I'm sure we won't run out of them, right, Amy? We have actual days where we're like, no more ideas.
Yeah.
This is so funny. We'll bring this up. All right. Well, our next deep dive deal is going to be in July. It'll be here, same time, and we will be with Kent Esty, who is an artist and author, and also Sue Trinka. So let's give Travis a round of applause, and thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you.